Alrighty, everybody, so we are back in the 2019 Chevrolet Bolt, and we have gone a pretty good distance since the car has been purchased. I think this was when we did get it, so we've traveled in total those amount of miles since we have purchased the car back in June. Now, of course, this car took a 3-month hiatus from our lives because it needed a transmission sensor, which I know there's no transmission. Well, there is. It's a reduction gear. But either way, it needed a temperature sensor, and they couldn't get the part for it right away. So I want to talk about this car a little bit more in depth because now that we've had an experience with it in terms of charging, battery life, etc., I want to just share a couple things with you. So we do still have the gasoline vehicles. We use them, on occasion, especially when we both need to be in different places. The one who goes further basically takes this one. So how that's been working is pretty good. I haven't had to fill up my Mazda in 3 weeks, and the Subaru I think has gone longer. And this car has basically been filled up multiple times a week. Now, I did actually get a full month with it to calculate my energy expenses, and they really didn't come up that much, which was good. But granted, I also charge at casinos, and I have been using a lot of DC fast charging on this car. And the reason I've been going that route is because it's a little bit more convenient with the places that I have been. Plus, the battery degradation, this car can only accept 50 or so kilowatts at a time, and it doesn't really do much in terms of damaging the battery. Plus, its charge curve is so restricted after 60% that essentially it kind of turns more, it still charges quickly, but it kind of hangs around at level 2.5 per se. So the car itself, the charging times are a bit lengthy, and the charging sessions can sometimes get a little pricey, albeit though, when we took a look at the analysis here, we put probably, I would say, about $50 worth of electricity from Tesla, because we use a Tesla adapter, into this car. And when taking a look at how many miles we have gone in comparison with both the gasoline vehicles, we would have spent easily over $200. So this vehicle, although we've had to use, sometimes we've had to use our judgment in filling it up at level 3 chargers, is still saving us quite a bit of money despite needing to drive pretty far this week. I think, there's some weeks we don't drive it a lot, and there's some weeks we drive it pretty heavily. And this week, we actually ended up driving it, I think, close to like 400 miles. So we've had to do a lot of charging with this car. But it's pretty convenient, though. Honestly, I kind of wish we would have thought of this sooner. But on the same token, with that, at the time, we just weren't in the position to purchase another vehicle. But I will say that this vehicle has been pretty good. I am noticing, of course, over time that the suspension is a little noisy. It sounds like bushings, but I can't tell if it's coming from the front or the back. I know that there was a welding issue with the rear axle, and this car could have suffered from it. And in that regard, of course, it's not a safety issue, it's more annoying. But in that case, also, it could just be the bushings need to be greased because the car did sit for 3 months with no movement or anything of that sort. But now it drives fine. I'm noticing a little bit of range hit with the heat being on. This one's not equipped with a heat pump, but the range is still pretty adequate for what we need it for. And realistically, we've been parking the other 2 cars and just using this as our main people mover, and it's been great. So electric cars, I see the appeal of them. I do want to still have gasoline vehicles because I like being engaged with the car. But for everyday commuting and wanting to be lazy, this car does a really good job in kind of taking care of you. If it had adaptive cruise control and maybe a little bit of a more comfortable seat and just a higher range, I probably would be taking this all the time on road trips and such. I do notice, however, that when it's really cold outside, the seat actually has a spring in it that makes a lot of noise. And it was really weird at first because I thought I broke the seat, but no, we're not there yet. I'll break it at some point, I suppose. But just odd noises here and there from the cabin, but also we need to consider here, we're not being masked by an engine roar. Well, I guess an engine, sure, roar. But we're not being, we don't have engine noises to kind of compensate, so things are going to be louder than what you would hear in a combustion car. So Yeah, that's basically it though. Charging, I just wish it was a little faster and also a little cheaper. But in this case also, I mean, I've been using fast charging, which is more expensive. So I do have the ability to plug into level 2s when I can. So yeah, that's basically it. But if you guys have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out. And just wanted to give you a little update on Louie. And yeah, this is where we're at with my 2019 Chevy Bolt. All right, guys, have a good one.